Ever notice that when you unsubscribe from a service, they try to get you back by bombarding you with emails, special offers, or even the facade that they value you as a customer? This is a version of fear of loss that I really, really don't enjoy. So, fear of loss, or FOMO, fear of missing out, is maybe the more common term, more understandable to you. In marketing, it's a sales technique to get people to buy. It's to build an impulse. When you are actually pitching someone something, when you're actually trying to get people to buy or use your service or product, whatever you're selling in business, using fear of missing out tactics, it's a way to kind of create that impulse. You say things like, time's running out. It's an exclusive offer, exclusive promotion, limited time offer. It goes away after a little while. You talk about the testimonies of all the people that have changed their lives using your product, using your service. It's to, create in people's minds the idea that, oh, wow, maybe if all these other people are doing well, and because it's running out, maybe I gotta get on this, right? Maybe I don't want to miss it, because preying on people's fear of missing out. So many people have fear of missing out. Really, you can argue that all humans intrinsically do have this fear of missing out. We want to be accepted. We want to be just culturally attuned to what's going on. And using these tactics kind of preys on that feeling. I don't necessarily have a problem with that when it comes to actually like selling someone something, because I think it's just sales tactics. Like, it really is down to if your product sucks, right? If your product or service is terrible and most people hate it, then they're gonna hate it. They're gonna hate you for lying to them as the person either giving them the service or just being the marketer for some other service. They're gonna hate you for lying to them, and it's a lie, right? It's a lie if the service sucks, and then this whole fear of loss thing, it's seen as this whole marketing tactic. But if it's actually a good service, then it was actually a good thing because you've used it to give people something they actually need, which is good. But my problem with this entire thing is the integrity. It's just this huge lack of integrity, and it goes back to what I introed this episode talking about. That you can really just smell it when a business doesn't really care about you. When you're using their stuff, you kind of don't really like it for a while, and then you end up leaving their service, and only after you leave do they start bombarding you, calling you, emailing you, saying, hey, here's these special offers, these special things. Man, we want to keep your business. We value you as a customer. All this baloney, which is clear baloney because when you were actually a customer, they didn't actually treat you right. They didn't actually give you the best stuff. So it's like, where were all these offers and all of this eagerness to keep my business when I was working with you, when I was still using your stuff? And that's where this fear of loss, fear of missing out type of thing is just like really prevalent online and on the internet, and even outside the internet in conventional sales situations. With the small knowledge I have of the industry, I've kind of seen it. I've kind of had a small taste, a small glimpse of how bad it can really get. And it is truly down to whether or not the product or service is actually good, right? If it sucks, then you've just basically lied to them saying that, oh, all these things are going to happen. You're going to change your life. You're going to make all this money, whatever it is. But if it sucks, it doesn't actually work, then that's your fault. And you're going to suffer the consequences as a business owner, as a marketer, because people are going to come and complain to you. People are going to be angry at you. People are going to want refunds, all that kind of stuff, right? And it's just bad business practice. But it's so prevalent. And even more prevalent is the trying to keep people's business after they leave. Has anyone ever thought of, instead of let's give an example, right? Just to kind of put this into perspective, why I really don't like this. You're selling like a course. You're selling a course, I don't know, like a drop shipping course, let's say. Drop shipping is not really good to do anymore, but let's just give this as an example, just kind of out there. You're selling a drop shipping course, I don't know, it's like, let's say you're giving it like a subscription type of thing. And someone cancels their subscription. They don't want it. They're like, oh, I don't really like what's happening, or I don't really think I'm capable of this, or whatever the reason they leave. They're leaving. what most people would do, and what I feel most people would do, and this is kind of the culture that we're shifting towards, is they will just have like a automatic 3 to 5 email campaign, just bombarding them, trying to get them to come back, right? Trying to get them to come back with special offers, special deals, clickbaity email titles, trying to get them to click the email, and then some crazy offer that they would have never ever given anyone else to get them to come back. And it's proof that they don't actually care about the individual customer. They don't care about their experience. Like maybe dropshipping just doesn't work anymore. Maybe. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was kind of like a phase a few years ago, and that it's like very hard to get into it now, especially because of the saturation of all the people that are trying to do it. But has anyone ever thought of, instead of just bombarding them with emails, the common tactics, trying to get them to come back, really just abusing that fear of loss mentality to try and get them to come back, to try and convince them that they are losing out if they leave? How about, instead of doing that, just one email, small email saying, "Sorry to see you go. Tell us why you left." I'm sure some people do it. Me personally, I'd appreciate it if I got an email like that saying leave your feedback, and I would genuinely tell them like what went wrong, why I didn't stop. But instead, why I left, why I did stop. Instead, it's more just again, this fear of loss, trying to keep your business, rather than just accepting that, okay, something was wrong. I think many businesses would improve, many services and products in the market would improve significantly if this small change was made. When people left their service, instead of bombarding them, trying to get them to come back, they send out a small email just asking for feedback. Not everyone will give feedback, but probably it will make people appreciate you a little bit more as a business person, that you're trying to improve. And if you actually take the feedback some people say, analyze it, and say, okay, if you've seen a certain feedback many times, you'd be like, okay, what do I have to improve? Maybe in the course, you say, there's a lot missing. Maybe you get that a lot. Maybe you say, okay, it's pretty, like, you get a lot of feedback with people saying it's bare bones, there's a lot missing, you could do better, you're not explaining it properly, I couldn't understand, stuff like that. Then, well, the easiest thing to do in that situation, using the same example, is you just make better videos, you get better research, better content, better explanations, maybe write it down and be more thorough with your explanations of how to do the thing. And that will improve your service. That'll improve what you're giving out. Whereas a lot of people are just kind of content with what they have, because they are just going to, they know that they have this thing where they're just going to try and bring people who leave back. Try and bring them back. And try and just keep people, just suffocate people for as much as possible. And I feel like that is more common business practice than this kind of suggestion that I'm just throwing out there. And it's all related to this fear of loss, preying on people not wanting to miss out on things. So it's just something that is a little bit bitter to me. Because if I were to run a business, right now I'm not going to be, because I'm just working on other things. But if in the future I were to start my own business and I'm actually going to run this business, I have the principles that I'm going to run the business with. And I think it really doesn't agree with a lot of common business practice, because I'm focused on integrity, authenticity, right? I'm not going to run a business that goes against God, because I'm not going to lie to people. I'm not going to over-exaggerate things to try and get people to buy. I'm not going to do this fear of loss stuff to try and get people to stay. Because all it does is just, you smell it when people are not being authentic, when it is just for the money. It needs to be, you actually have a good product that helps people, and the money that you receive is secondary. That's how you have to treat things when it comes to business. First, serve people. First, give people something that is actually good for them, that helps them. And once you have that, the money will come in. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to bend over backwards, jump through all these hoops to keep your revenue. And that's all you're doing when you're doing this fear of loss tactics, is you're jumping through hoops. If you have a good product, you have a good service, you can be confident that you will get clients, that you will get satisfied clients and customers, rather than having to do all this stuff that kind of is just saturated in the markets. And you see it all over the internet. It's all over the internet. It's so prevalent. Nothing really feels real. Not many things truly feel authentic anymore. I even get like emails from LinkedIn where there's this just clickbaity headline just to get me to click, but it's just some promotional thing from LinkedIn, dude. Like my goodness. And it's related, but this is also kind of like a different topic. The fact that there's this feeling that everything exists just to get you to click. And even maybe even this video, you clicked because the title was intriguing, the thumbnail was intriguing, whatever. I try my best to not be so clickbaity when I'm making a title, when I'm making a thumbnail. It's because I'm actually talking about the thing in the video. But there's a lot of people that just completely just 180 you. They make something purposefully super intriguing to watch, and then you click it and the video has nothing to do with it, or the email or whatever. It has nothing to do with what you actually were interested in. But now you've clicked, now you're in, and then you read it, and that just pisses people off. But for some reason, this is a tactic that people use, and it's still very prevalent online, and it is probably the most prevalent. But it can be, it can be in YouTube videos. You see it all the time. There's, the algorithms, and it's just so specified and so specifically focused to one specific type of video that everything else just kind of gets flushed out. Or it's just in email marketing, or even in just advertising. You're advertising something like flashy and stuff, and then you click it, and then it's not actually as good as it says. A good example of this is restaurants. Restaurants purposefully Photoshop the burgers and the foods and stuff to make them look better on the images. But when you actually get it, it looks terrible. There are a few examples of fast food places that are like the worst with it. Maybe McDonald's is, of course, the worst with it. Wendy's is pretty bad with it, I'm going to be honest. Like, I had Wendy's recently, admittedly. Like, not recently, maybe like a couple months ago. And, like, the burger looked horrible, I'm going to be honest. Like, in comparison to the image, this is common practice. Just this clickbaity type of thing. Everything feels like a lie. Everything feels like it's just not. You're not actually being appealed to as the customer. You're not. You don't really want to click when you see something so like urgent message, or like time's running out, exclusive offer, like stuff like that. You don't want to click anymore. Whereas maybe 10 years ago that stuff was maybe less common, and people were more likely to click, especially in newer, earlier stages of social media and email marketing. People didn't really know what to think of it. But now there's just so much of it that it's like you really don't want to click. You really don't want to like look at something that kind of has that clear clickbaity type of thing. Right? Watch this video for whatever, blah 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 blah. Insert clickbaity headline here for the video. And for online ads, it's like click here to get new clients, or whatever, to make money, or whatever the thing is, right? There's marketing tactics, there's techniques to get people to click, but there's also things that just like kind of are counterproductive because they're so bad. They go so far on this fear of loss, fear of missing out, clickbaity type of mentality that you actually get less interested people. People are less interested in what you're doing. And I feel like that's genuinely the case. I, for one, would say that that's how I feel. Is it's like I would not really click on something that's so evidently just a load of crap. And again, you just smell it with human psychology and human behaviors. You smell it when it's just kind of a little bit, over the top. When something's a little bit too good to be true, or it's a little bit out there. You smell it when it's just something that's not authentic. And even it bleeds into authentic things. Like, it's bleeding into things that are like good products and good services and good things, but you're using these kind of slimy marketing tactics to get people to click on it. So it just loses the appeal, even if it's a good product at some point. It's like, specifically when it comes to like online email marketing and just advertising online, that kind of stuff. Maybe your YouTube video is actually a good video, but because of the algorithms, have made it into this, I don't know, this weird, I don't even know how to, like, you would describe it as this specific type of video that YouTube would push, because YouTube would push it, not because you actually want to make it look good. Like, there's genuinely good YouTube videos out there that have a great title, super intriguing, a super good thumbnail, and get a lot of views. But because it's a genuinely interesting video as well. Not just because of the thumbnail and in the title. So why is all of this related, right? Why is it kind of related to this fear of loss, even in direct marketing, as well as online marketing, as well as just YouTube content? The best content doesn't need these tactics to succeed. That is the whole point of all of this. Content can be anything. It can be a video, it can be a product, a service, a business. It can be an email with interesting information, a blog post, social media posts, whatever. Whatever you can think about. It can be anything. If it's a good thing, if it's a good product, a good service, a good piece of content, it will do well. It will succeed in the market no matter what. Like my favorite emails to click and read are like emails that are titled something like psychology, male sex, and alligators. Something so dumb and so just so specific. So specific to what's actually being talked. It's not clickbaity at all. You're literally just talking about some psychological study, some male sex study, and some alligator study, and you're putting it into an email. This is just like an example. I don't think anyone's ever written an email titled psychology, male sex, and alligators. I don't think that's a thing. But my point is that this is the type of thing that's actually intriguing because it's real. Like you're actually going to be talking about these. You're going to talk about these things. You wouldn't put this in the title if you're not talking about it, right? Because it's something so silly, really, that it's actually good and it's good content and it's good stuff, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that I'm not just kind of being lied to, and there's not this eerie feeling of always being lied to, and you're always just, your attention is being grabbed and thrown here and thrown there and thrown everywhere. Instead, you're able to just read something and look at something that's just real, authentic, and it's actually a good piece of content too. That is, I think, what we're all intrinsically looking for on the internet specifically, is just good content, good things to watch, good things to read, good things to experience, whether it's like entertainment, laughs, funny moments, or just good, interesting information for our own self-development, self-help, self-growth, self-improvement, mindset type of thing. Regardless of what side of the internet we're on, there's a reason why we want to watch what we watch. And basically, what this kind of clickbaity type of culture seems to be doing, and the algorithm's not helping it, is just it causes us to then go and we're watching things that we really don't want to watch, but we're watching them just because it looks interesting and it's pulled us in. But really, the video's a load of crap, the email's a load of crap, it's just a promotional marketing message. You want to get people to buy. There's this internal thing that you're only in it for the money when you do these tactics. You're not actually there because you have a good service. I personally think, and I'll be trying this out, right, with my content, with what I'm doing with this podcast. It's going to be really like a live experiment. It would be so easy for me to get popular by just being angry at everything, by just saying super controversial things and pissing so many people off. It'd be super easy for me to get popular doing that. But I'm choosing not to, because I already kind of dabbled in it even for like a little second and got some good views and got a lot of hate. And I'm like, is it really worth it? My name will grow popular because you're being controversial, but then A, everyone's going to hate you, and B, your name will just die out in the end anyway because you have no substance, because all you're doing is being controversial. You haven't proven that you actually have something to offer to this space. And what I'm trying to do is prove that I have something to offer to this space more than just being this controversial figure. So I think this take and what I'm doing here, talking about this marketing aspect, I think it's something that's definitely a little bit unique, that's not really talked about that much. I'm sure there's content out there, and I think it's good stuff. I think it's good stuff. If you enjoyed, let me know. Let me know by liking and subscribing and commenting, of course, right? But also, it's not godly, right? It is not. I'm going to continue to mention God. Maybe that ruins my chances in the algorithms because of what they are, but I don't care, because that's why I'm doing this, to glorify God in what I do and to truly spread the message of the gospel, spread the good works that it can truly bring, that belief in God truly brings every day, and exemplifying it in myself. Because really this podcast is about, me and my life, but God is an absolutely massive part of my life, and he is the center. So of course he has to be very prevalent in this show for sure as well. So just mentioning him might actually be ruining my chances in the algorithm, might be ruining my chances of popularity. But if I continue to grind, if I continue to move forward, I believe that in the long run, the authenticity, the integrity of this show and what I'm truly saying starts to actually shine in the views, and God gets to do his true work and gets to witness the fruits of his name in actually the success I would receive in continuing with this show, right? But it would be easy. I'm saying it would be easy for me to just go out there, be controversial, and make it popular. But it would be a short-term burst at most with a lot of hate, and it will die down quickly. Whereas in the long run, doing things that aren't necessarily a part of the normal culture, aren't a part of the normal algorithmic structure, and running my show in this way is a live experiment, because I'm not going to be controversial. I'm trying to spread the message of love rather than hate. Even if I'm calling out this specific marketing ploy as something that's bad, and I'm sure there are other things that I will do as well that kind of accidentally, because I'm not perfect, fall across that line, go trod that line. But I'm trying my best to truly glorify God and come at it from a loving perspective rather than a controversial one. And although maybe I'll still have videos that get like 3 views, in the long run, it's proving my integrity as a person, and the integrity will shine in the long run. And then you're actually building something greater rather than just something short, quick burst of popularity and then it dies out quick. You're building a long, slow, and steady, but also more fruitful, more abundant, more real type of content and type of culture around the show, around who I am, to then truly still be successful without having to implement any of these methods, without having to implement any of this, like, clickbait, high level clickbait content, and fear of loss, fear of missing out type of content, just to get people to watch my stuff, just to get people to read my things, whatever it may be that I'm doing to get people to watch and to get people to do things. I don't have to do this stuff, because if it's good content and if it's glorifying God, it will in the end prevail over the person that is just trying to be purposefully overly controversial. So we will see what happens. This is episode 93. I've had some success, not a lot yet, but I'm still confident that if I continue to grow, I continue to improve the show, I continue to make things better every day, that one day things will work out and I won't have to do any of this. I will prove myself as being right, that I don't have to engage in any of these sliming marketing tactics to make this work and to make it popular. It's going to take time. I need patience, because God doesn't work on our timelines. I'm not going to be popular in a week, a month, maybe even a year. Maybe after 365 days, it's not going to be done. It's not going to be popular. Maybe it will be. I don't know. Depends on what happens. Depends on what happens in my life, really, as well. If I can even continue with the show, it depends on what happens with my life, right? So the point being is that to truly succeed in business, to truly succeed online, rather than the quick burst, you have to be patient. You have to understand that really it's a counterculture against fear of loss and fear of missing out tactics, that really a lot of people aren't really appealed by that anymore. That authenticity and integrity kind of is supreme above any other version of marketing tactics. And I've also proven that in what I was able to do when I was working door to door. I was able to prove that integrity is better than just lying to people straight up. I had people that were literally just lying to people, and that just makes everything worse. But it's a common thing out there, whether in direct sales or in actual online marketing and in online, just this whole online internet culture. So the point of this podcast is to spread that message, to say and proclaim that my podcast is an experiment to this, and if I grow popular, that means I've proven this whole concept as being correct, because I'm being authentic and showing integrity rather than lying and being controversial. But if I don't, maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe I'm wrong, right? So that's the experiment that I'm going to be running each and every day of this show. But I think I've gotten my point across. I think if you're going to be a business owner, you're going to run stuff, you're going to market, be real. Tell people what they're getting directly up front. You don't need to hide things. There's nothing to hide. You don't need to provoke them because there's nothing to provoke. If your thing is good and it helps people, and the people you're targeting are the types of people that will be helped out by your service, your product, there should not be a need to even include any of these things. And you will keep more customers. You will have more customer loyalty, higher customer satisfaction, less angry people complaining to you and calling you with complaints, talking about all these problems that they're dealing with. You'll feel better. Your business will run smoother. You'll have more satisfied customers, and the money will come in naturally. You shouldn't have to stress too much about it. That is the ultimate message with this entire video, and I think I got that point across. So, with this conclusion, people are different. Sometimes you have a good service, and there are people that still don't like it. That's okay. You don't have to be clingy. You don't have to be clingy. You don't have to try and bring them back and force them against their own will to join you again and use your service and product again, whatever. No, that's okay. Let them go. Ask for feedback and then improve your service with their feedback. But people are different. Maybe there are people that actually love when they are targeted with fear of loss type of a marketing tactic. Me personally, I'm not, and I feel like a lot of people aren't. But maybe there are people that do it, and maybe there are people that are more susceptible to those things than others. For me, I'm just kind of bored of it. A lot of people might be fine with it, might be indifferent to it. So understand that when you're running your business, there are differences, there are small nuances and differences to this entire concept I'm talking about in the video. But I think for the most part, I believe I'm pretty accurate with what I'm saying. So when you're running your business, be aware of those things. That's all I'm saying. So thank you. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for hearing my piece. I appreciate you if you made it this far. Let me know what you thought. Leave a like and subscribe and follow if you're watching on Spotify. Follow the show to not miss the next episode, which obviously happens every day because I'm doing this podcast and this big experiment of whether or not the way I'm going about it is the right way. Only time will tell, and only if God allows it. Will it happen. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Continue to glorify God in all that you do. Please avoid fear of loss, fear of missing out marketing tactics, and you will find that your success, although it will be a bit slower, will be even more fruitful than if you kind of rush it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.